Hey everyone, March 9th, it's Thursday. So today we're going to talk about getting into real estate investing for the first time and what your first steps should be. So we're going to do more on this in our masterclass to help new investors. We're actually going to be consolidating just doing masterclass and investor download center. So with masterclass, you'll be getting modules for wholesaling as well as single family flips and rentals, and you'll be getting modules as well as what we've done for private money brokering, what we'll do for private money lending, multifamily. So there'll be a number of different modules that will be developed, and then everything will be passive in Investor Download Center. But your first steps really, a lot of people are like, how do I get into this? How do I make money? How do I build income, cash flow, and wealth? Because that's what the three goals are. And wealth can be both time, you get your time back. Time is something you just can't get enough of. There's only everybody has a certain amount of time. It can be 99 years and 3 days. It can be 52 years and 2 days. It could be, whatever your lifetime is. You can never get enough time. You can always make more money. So what we're talking about is income, cash flow, and wealth. And so what you really want to do is you really want to identify what you want to do. If you're coming in and you don't have money, and you didn't want to make some money, you can get into wholesaling, or you can get into a private money broker, or you can do both. And you can actually make, if you do both, you can actually pretty much double dip. You can get broker fees, you can get wholesaling assignment fees, things like that. So that's a good way to get in if you're just getting started, and that way you get time to learn the business, you get time to develop relationships, and you make some serious money. You can make six figures, you can make mid six figures doing both. You can make seven figures if you do it right. So imagine 2 or 3 years, you're able to actually build up, mid six figure into seven figure reserves and cash that you have to invest in syndications or buy properties outright, or leverage OPM, other people's money from institutional investors, as well as our private money lenders and private money investors. So you have a lot of opportunity there if you can do those two tracks. If you do have some money, you have a 401k, got some savings, got some family or something, or some other resources, you can actually get into real estate a lot, you know, uh, you know, pretty much directly, and you can leverage that into OPM. But I would still suggest setting up the other two tracks. So our way of teaching wholesaling is a lot different. I mean, it's probably different than anybody else because we're going to teach you how to use AI, artificial intelligence, to run circles around competitors, not just if you're wholesaling, but also if you're trying to acquire properties. And if you use the three P's, PropStream, PropWire, and Privy, and you use the systems and the processes and all the forms, checklists, databases, templates, calculators, and analyze we provide, you will basically run circles around the competitors. You won't even have competitors. There's only going to be a couple hundred of maybe a couple thousand people that are going to be using our system, and probably more down towards the couple hundred, because we really want to be selective until we have the virtual system. We want to be selective on who we want to bring in. We're bringing in a mix of people that are they're brand new and experienced, new people that are in the mid range. They're into single families or just starting in some other genres and asset classes, and they're looking to scale. And then we have people that have scaled in a big way, and they're doing $75-100 million portfolios. They're looking to scale even more, maybe get up to the $500 million to $1 billion portfolios. There's a number of real estate investors that have that. A lot of them have started out. I mean, one of my good friends who's a phenomenal individual and speaker, and I'm just going to drop his name, Rod Cleef. Rod, you're out there, buddy. How are you? Rod's one of the best guys in the real estate business, and he's one of the best educators and mentors, and his systems are awesome. The people that work for him to help you are incredible. He doesn't bring people on that aren't been there, done that, and they're all willing to share. Rod had one point had like 500 rental properties just in Denver, single family, and then now he has billions of dollars in apartments, and probably one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in and outside of real estate. So, like I said, I'll share a shout out to him. But you want to get into this industry by working with people like Rod and people like the people we have on our team, our master classes and our PMAOG. We have a phenomenal amount of people that are successful in this already, and they're willing to spread their wings by helping you. And we have all the systems in there. So you want to decide how you want to get into this. Let's go back to that. right away, if you want to do single family flips or you want to do single family rentals, stop watching HGTV and A&E. They're entertainment only. Learn from people that are actually doing it, but not celebrities who are doing it on TV, because they're entirely different operations. It's for entertainment. Producers are driving the drama. They're supposed to be unscripted, but believe me, they create drama because they need that for ratings and all that. So you want to stop watching those shows, and you also want to stop. Don't go to mentors or seminar promoters when they're saying, "Hey, I'm so and so from this house or whatever, flipping this, flipping that." Don't go to those seminars. Please don't go to those seminars, because you're not going to do anything but, hopefully, their hope is that you'll write a check for $2,500 or 5,000 or 1,500, or pretty soon you got 10,000 or $20,000 into them, and you can save that money and use that for your reserves or down payment. Do some wholesaling or do some private money brokering. Learn the business inside and out, because you will, if you do both of those, you'll learn the business inside and out. You'll know how to acquire properties. You'll learn how to do proper comps. Wholesalers don't do proper comps. They are just all about, there's a deal called car salesman. Car salesmen have deals that they pound you, or they dime you, or they nickel you. It's like, and you guys can say what nickel and dime is, 5 and 10, but they want 10 pounders, 5 pounders. They want to get you into everything, like, hey, you need an extended warranty. You need this, you need that, you need this. That's what a lot of wholesalers don't understand, is they package all their properties. They want to get a high ACV. I mean, a high assignment contract fee. Sorry, ACV comes from my insurance, my storm restoration days. ARV, but they don't do anything to demonstrate, hey, this is supposed to have a $300,000 AC, ARV, but they don't do the proper comps and what the as is, the purchase price, what the rehab costs. Most of them fail on the rehab costs, and they're expecting people to be like, hey, I'm going to go buy this property and I'm going to get a lender. Well, a lot of times you're not going to be finding a lender or an investor, because the deals, there's no meat on the bone. There's nothing there, and there's a lot of risk. And here's another thing: don't believe there's 100% financing out there. It is. It comes with strings. If you're just starting out, most of these 100% financings are guru driven, and you got to go pay 15,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 or whatever. There's one that's like 3,500. It's probably the least expensive, and you come in and you still got to split the deal 50-50 with them. So you want to avoid that. Instead of paying that money, open that into your business account, get your LLC, have your EIN, and basically get into real estate that way and start putting that money to work. Has reserves, showing money. You got the ability to pay 3 or 4 months of payments. So that'll help you a lot. So those are some of your first steps. You want to join, our master class right now through March 30th is $397. It goes to $1,500. That's all you ever pay, and you're going to be able to go through and learn wholesaling, private money brokering, how to do single family. You'll start touching on multifamily, storage, short-term rentals. We have all the analyzer programs. You don't need to go buy. Some people sell their analyzer programs for 300 or 1,000. We got them. They come with it. We got the calculators that come with it. All the checklist forms, documents, templates you need. And guess what? Lenders list. Over 1,000 lenders. These are vetted, verified. I'm going to run them every quarter. I'll pick out the ones that are not in business, or mark them if they're just not funding, but they're still in business. Sometimes they get a little extended and they start just waiting till they recover some of the capital. Keep in mind, ROC is return of capital. ROI is return on investment. So the return of capital is what lenders and investors are concerned with. You are return on investment. Their return of capital. They want their capital back. They want their interest as their profit and their earnings. So there's ROC, there's ROI. Those are two completely separate things. And we go into that. We're going to be doing a lot more on deal structuring and the insides and outs. I've got probably more than 100 deals that I've got out of the 200 that I've did, as well as some other ones where I actually have the notes from the transaction coordinator, the underwriter, and the processor. And some places, a couple lenders that I've worked with, they use different colored ink for each of them. Like the underwriters usually will write in red. Anything that's like could be negative or could be turning it down or asking serious questions, usually it's going to be in red. The transaction coordinator is looking for the paperwork to be correct, and the process, the title work, the appraisal, everything's there. The process is just generally assembling that. It's usually the the transaction coordinator and the underwriter are kind of equal, but they're very serious people. They're protecting that fund, that company, that lender from mistakes. They're just like a bank officer. Processes are lot like just like a senior teller. They're basically just processing the information. A private money broker is doing a lot of this. And they're doing almost three jobs. You got to pre-underwrite, you got to do some of the work on the transaction, and you got to process. So as a private money broker, you get a really good inside look at how this works. Private money, real estate, even some of the other tangible and physical assets we'll touch on, and they all are included. So if you want to talk about gold, silver, osmium, platinum, palladium, strategic metals, critical minerals, in-ground assets, which are like oil, gas, and energy, you guys will be able to get all that because we've got people that can do it. We have people that can explain a 43-101. It's actually what mining companies and exploration companies have to for minerals and metals. There's other forms for oil and gas. You actually get an inside look at those. So if you're interested in investing in mineral rights or oil wells, which is pretty lucrative and they're pretty substantial, but how do you read through a document, a PPM or a proposal, or some kind of pro forma offer memorandum for an oil well? Well, we have people that can teach you. I have a petroleum engineer contact, as well as people that sell those contracts to come on, and they'll teach you that. So if you want to get into real estate, like I said, you got to do a couple of things. Like I said, figure out what you want to do, how you want to start. If you want to start in those two tracks, that's the best way to go in and learn the business inside out and start generating your income, your cash flow, and that'll lead to your wealth. And that's what you are looking for. And that you get a single family, you just start flipping some properties that puts money into the reserves, that puts capital into your down payments. As you can transition then into buying single family to rent, then you can just start generating that cash flow, and then you take that income and that cash flow and the start of your wealth, and maybe then you start eliminating some of the single family rental properties when they appraise. They're obviously going to go up in value. So, and you're going to do value adds. You'll raise rents in most cases. You'll go from a class C to a class B. Very rarely do they go from a B to an A, and they probably never go from a C to an A. But you start putting that money in now into multifamily or storage, short-term rentals. Short-term rentals is something you can also get into a little easier at the beginning, so you can get some rental properties that are, they're pretty lucrative. We can guide you through some of the areas of the country that are really solid. If you want to move to one of those as a retirement or a second home for vacation, there's really good areas. We can kind of guide you into what areas you probably don't want to get into an STR right now. Breckenridge, Frisco, Sonoma County, Steamboat Springs, Aspen, Park City, those kind of places you don't want to really get into. They're getting restricted, and it's almost to the point of unconstitutional takings, which is so eventually that'll work itself out as they start losing a lot of employment opportunities for plumbers, cleaners, electricians, the snowplow people, especially in those places where you need snowplows like 355 days a week. I mean, a year. You only got like 10, 15 days a year that you don't need a snowplow in Steamboat Springs. It's actually not that bad, but I lived there for 2 years, so I know a lot about Steamboat Springs. It's a very interesting opportunity in STRs. So if you want to get into that, it's a little bit more entry level than going and buying apartment complexes or storage complexes or commercial real estate. There's a lot of opportunities right now. Look how many Sears I can drive by in about 3 or 4 hours in Denver, in the Denver metro area, and I can hit probably 7 or 8 Sears that are sitting there empty right now. And some of them still have, some of them, they don't all have the Sears on the outside, like the signage, but you can actually, where the walls, the exterior walls are stained and it says Sears. I can go to 7 or 8 of those right now. And, probably 10 or 15 if I go up north to Loveland, BLE, Fort Collins, and go down to Colorado Springs and Pueblo. I can probably hit 10 or 15 Sears stores that are just sitting there. And how do you repurpose them? There's a lot of people. There was a number of Walmart neighborhood stores that were built, and so there's like 3 of them that I know of in the Denver metro area alone where they're empty. One of them just got repurposed into ARC, opened a thrift store, and this is a brand new building. Like, I used to drive by it like 2 or 3 times a week, and it's sat there almost as a brand new building. I mean, literally, you would not know if you moved in if that it wasn't that it had been there for a couple of years and what it had been. So, there's a lot of opportunity to repurpose things. A lot of malls were affected by COVID and the pandemic. So there's a lot of opportunity where a lot of malls are turning to companies that do like their kiosks. They do pop-ups because they can go in and you can do a pop-up for like a month or a couple of weeks or a couple of months. You don't have to do a long-term lease. So if you're looking to start you're getting into the mall, you don't have to go in and do a lot of outlay anymore. You can actually go to these companies that basically are bringing revenue and like short-term tenants, pop-up tenants to malls. There's a lot of opportunity there. There's a lot of them to get into these businesses, and you can get pretty creative on being able to even set a company up that could go in and you could bring 20 or 30 pop-up tenants to a mall. You could get into real estate that way. So there's a lot of opportunity out there, and we're going to get pretty creative. We're going to do our 12-week sessions a year, and then every other week, we'll probably go on a weekly again, and we'll probably add a few more, but we're going to do events that are specially designed for other areas, as well as, we'll bring securities attorneys in on one session. We'll talk about AI. We're going to talk about that on March 27th. Feel free, there is on March 22nd, our free event, our networking event. That's where you're going to come and meet us. And we've got, if you're in our masterclass or investor download center on by March 27th, you have until March 30th for the 397 deal and the $100 instead of $599 for investor download center. But if you're in by the 27th, you'll get to participate in our AI event. And then we'll do another event in April, another one in May, another one in June. We'll start mid-July with our next 12-week session. And then we're going to fill in a lot of the time talking about, just reinforcing, bringing people, doing deal structure, deal desk. You're going to bring deals to us. We'll rip them apart. We'll figure out who can fund them, who can lend them. We'll use the lender list, the download center, all the funders, and we'll try to help you structure these deals. Here's the thing that really helps you. Okay, so most of our lenders, they probably need 21 to 28 business days to get your deal closed and funded to the title company. So keep that in mind. So don't get angry when they tell you no. Your best bet really is to get me or one of my private money brokers or one of the people out there to actually start working with you before you ever put a deal under contract, even before you search for a deal. Get a little bit of education and knowledge because that will go a long way into how you start and becoming successful right away by having the tools. When you have the lender and you know what your lenders and your investors are looking for and where the pain points are and how to structure this deal and how to risk, reduce. You can never eliminate the risk, but how you can reduce the risk to them for their return on capital and how to increase your ROI, your return on investment. You can, if you imagine if you go work with them from the get-go and you go into these properties and you can write your offer that basically conforms to, hey, the seller's going to accept this and the lender is going to fund this. And you know that when the paperwork goes to the seller or the seller's agent. And that's what we want from you. You'll be far more successful. You'll get off to a better start and you can scale faster if you work with people as part of your team. We talk about how to build the team, who you need on a team. A private money broker is on a team. You got a source. You can do all your own sourcing and your own offers and your own comps. But if you want to be a wholesaler or use wholesalers, we can help you advise on how to work with ethical ones that aren't going to take all your equity and leave you no meat on the bone. We're also going to talk about bandits hands, skip tracing, cold calling, letters, yellow letters. We'll talk to you about it. We'll show you how to do them if you want to do them. But if you use AI, the 3 Ps and all that, you can run circles around and everybody doing that because that's like 20th century. We're 23 years into the 21st century and we're probably 50 years behind on how people do REI. That stuff just doesn't work anymore and people are inundated. I mean, a lot of people are even going away from physical mail. It's all email and people don't like to be spammed on email or get texts and all that stuff. So keep that in mind. So if you're interested in this, reach out to me, but definitely sign up for the March 22nd event because you're going to get blown away by what we can offer you or we want to partner with you and we want to help you get off to a good start, build your business, and then start scaling and kind of crossing into different genres and asset classes, including metals and minerals and things if you want. But we'll also help you, there's a lot of stuff you can do to get off to a really good start. With that, I thank everybody for watching. Do a couple more things today, and then I will, yeah, just reach out to me or come see me on March 22nd. Talk to you later.